If rapid results are required, tree planting is the only option. However, approaches such as passive rewilding could make a significant contribution to the UK's ambitious woodland expansion goals at little or no cost and within relatively short timeframes. So, should Britain simply allow woodlands to regenerate naturally? National Highways, which oversaw the project, blamed the high failure rate on drought, although it did not confirm the figures to BBC Wildlife. It stated that 90% of the 160,000 trees and shrubs planted later survived, and that it had met its performance target of achieving no net loss of biodiversity between 2020 and 2025. It declined to say whether the 11.5% biodiversity gain had been achieved. To date, there is still no reliable data on how many trees, including replacements, remain alive. Scientists behind the PLOS-1 study of the so-called Old Wilderness concluded that woodland has always been capable of spreading naturally. This process often begins with pioneer species, such as brambles and thorny shrubs like dog rose and hawthorn, explains lead author Richard Broughton of the Center for Ecology and Hydrology. These thorny plants protect young saplings from grazing by rabbits and deer, which can otherwise kill them. Broughton notes that tree planting schemes rarely include species such as hawthorn, blackthorn, roses, or brambles, leaving saplings without natural protection. Limited grazing by roe deer, he adds, can even be beneficial by maintaining open areas where flowers and insects thrive. With the government investing $400 million in tree planting between 2024 and 2026, and given the high failure rates seen in projects such as the A14 upgrade, the question arises, why not let nature take its course? Natural regeneration is often more successful and costs virtually nothing. According to Neil Nicholson, finance director at forestry consultancy Nicholson's, the decision depends on objectives. If quick establishment is the priority, planting is necessary. If time allows, natural regeneration works just as well. The purpose of the woodland also matters. Planting is more effective for timber production and carbon sequestration, while natural growth is preferable for wildlife. Broughton argues that the slow pace of natural regeneration is actually an advantage, as it creates scrub habitats that provide valuable temporary environments for birds and insects. Nicholson also points out that tree planting rarely achieves a 100% success rate initially. In one project where 190,000 trees were planted across 100 hectares in Oxfordshire, around 40% died in the first year due to drought and poor soil conditions. After 2 rounds of replanting, however, the overall outcome was considered satisfactory, even if total success remains elusive.
Woodlands that regenerate naturally may face certain challenges. Although very high success rates, close to 100%, are achievable, this requires careful management. According to Lewis Chisholm, Woodland Creation Manager at the Forest of Avon Trust, the top priority is controlling pressure from herbivores. This can be done using tree guards, deer fencing, or a combination of both. FAT also installs raptor posts to deter small mammals, such as voles, whose gnawing can damage young saplings. Managing competition from grass is equally important. Grass competes with young trees for water and nutrients and is often more efficient at absorbing them during summer. To reduce this competition, FAT uses biodegradable mulch mats topped with wood chips, which help retain moisture while suppressing grass growth. Chisholm believes natural regeneration can play a valuable role in woodland creation, but it is not suitable for every site. He notes that, in addition to herbivore pressure, naturally regenerated woodlands may be less diverse. Instead of supporting 12 to 15 species, they may end up dominated by just 2 or 3. Research from Kew Gardens has also highlighted limitations of natural regeneration. Since only around 10% of England is covered by woodland, compared with a UK average of 14.5%, naturally established forests are more vulnerable to inbreeding. This is largely due to poor connectivity between woodland patches, which are often isolated by large areas of farmland. Guillermo Thries, lead author of the study, recommends sourcing seeds from a wider geographical range when planting trees to increase genetic diversity. Neil Mickelson also stresses the importance of diversity in planted woodlands, along with choosing species that are likely to cope with a changing climate. This may include some non-native species better adapted to hotter, drier summers. For example, the Blenheim Estate project planted 25 species, including foxglove trees from East Asia, which failed during the first drought, and false acacia from North America, which performed well despite dry conditions. Should the government do more to promote natural regeneration? Data from DEFRA show that in 2023-24, only 216 hectares of natural colonization were supported through the England Woodland Creation Offer, just 6.4% of the total area planted that year. Although over £1 million has been invested in research into natural regeneration and landowner attitudes, its overall contribution remains limited. Clearly, both tree planting and natural regeneration have roles to play in creating new woodlands. However, given the government's target of establishing 30,000 hectares of woodland annually, compared with just 4,500 hectares achieved in 2022-23, it raises the question of whether natural regeneration is being underestimated or overlooked, despite strong scientific evidence supporting its potential.